and welcome to episode 85 of the podcast. And thank you very much indeed for listening, guys. In this week's episode, we've got some fantastic tips for homeowners out there for before Christmas on what to check. Heating engineers, fellow brothers and sisters out there, we've got a few stories of what we all do go through and what we don't normally talk about to each other. And sometimes you can feel a little bit lonely. And just remember, it's Christmas for everyone. So before we get into the episode, here's my friend Sean to tell you a bit more about the podcast. Are you a new person coming into plumbing and heating? Are you a homeowner that likes a bit of DIY? Or are you a business owner and want a bit more knowledge before you make some decisions on your plumbing and heating? Stay tuned to the podcast and hopefully we'll be able to help you out with some of your questions. And welcome back, and thank you very much indeed for listening. We're still within the top 10 of the feed spot plumbing and heating. I've been struck down with this super flu, I think it may be, for the last week, and I've been struggling. I've been doing the Weira Advent calendar every day, and you can, if you follow us on social media, you can see my voice getting worse and worse and worse. And this is probably the best it's been for a little while, but it just doesn't seem to be letting up. But it's that seasonal stuff that we get as plumbers and heating engineers. We're into people's houses, we're out, we're in, we're out. And I do a lot of commercials, so there tends to be bigger groups of people in smaller areas. So you tend to go in and you do, and then before you know it, you're picking stuff up. And it doesn't help. This time of year, we're doing 16-hour days personally myself, and I'm doing sort of 6-7 days a week, what I'm trying to do as well. So apologise for if I start to cough or if I don't sound my best at the moment. So sorry for that. So a little tip for homeowners, some do's and don'ts, and some really things that you need to check out if you're a little bit worried about your plumbing within your home. So what I would say right at the beginning is, if you do have an emergency this Christmas time, this period, we're looking at Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, you will be paying a higher premium to call somebody out. And that's down to them. That's not an industry thing. People will charge what they want to charge, and people will pay what they want to pay. And it's absolutely fine. If you want to pay $1.5 for a call out to fix a problem on Christmas Day, and you're happy with that, you're happy with that. Not a problem at all. A lot of people out there, they get a little bit miffed with it. So I've got a couple of little tips for you guys to sort of put into preparation, get into planning right away to try and avoid those sort of types. So first thing's going to be is that just be mindful if you're dealing with a local plumber and it's a free phone number or it's an 00330 thingy-bob, you know, one of those hidden phone numbers of where they are geographically. When you look on their website, they've got a massive, great big long list of areas, towns and counties that they work with. Maybe they're not a local plumbing and heating professional. You may be phoning a call centre that's now subcontracting out call outs for you guys. So you'll be paying twice really. You'll be paying for the person turning up, and you'll be paying for the back office call centre as well for them and their website. So just be mindful. If you're happy with it, you're happy with it. If they do a great service, awesome. That's absolutely great. But we do hear a lot of horror stories, certainly this time of year. So all I'll say is we've got a week to go, just over a week to go since on recording of this. So just be mindful is that you're not confident with your pressure dropping in your boiler. You've got a drip coming from underneath and you've got a bucket, that weird noise that it makes when you turn the hot water on, that weird rattle. Just get it nipped in the bud. Get your boiler booked in, get it checked out with your local trusted heating engineer on the way up to Christmas or between Christmas and New Year if they're open. But that could save you that, oh my God, there's that error code on that boiler. It's all shut down. Christmas morning, everyone's freezing cold and nothing works. Or even worse case, you get a big leak on a boiler and it hits the electrical supply and it trips out the electrics. So now we've got two problems. We now need an electrician and now we need a heating engineer, both on the same time at the same day. And that'll be really, really expensive. So all these little things that are niggling away, just keep on top of them. They'll save you money in call-outs. They'll save you money in damage. And when we try to order stuff, then, you know, we use Wolseley, we use City Plumbing, we use Plumbase, we use the big nationals. There's a few little locals as well that we use. Is that ordering parts in is a problem, certainly because they use couriers, and all couriers this time of year are super busy as well. So the reliability on getting parts in is really difficult this time of year, and things go missing. Unfortunately, things get broken. You order a PCB and someone sat on it, stood on it, and it snapped. And you've got to order another one. That's another day or two. All depends on when we get these ordered. So what I would say is, like, Christmas sort of really does magnify all the weaknesses within the logistics and within the ordering processes as well. So yeah, I've got my teleprompter back up and running. So apologies, guys. It's been a little bit of a well, I haven't had it for a few weeks. So boiler pressure's dropping on Christmas Day. So typically this may be something that's already going on and just niggling away. And these things don't generally get better. So, if you've got a problem with your expansion vessel, it's filling up with water. And of course, the Christmas Day effect is we'll have the heating on 21, 22, 23, 24 degrees all day because everyone's around, no one's going to work. And then all the in-laws and the outlaws will be coming round, and the boiler and the heating is really put under pressure, and it's really made to work hard over these festive period. So just be mindful of those little minor leaks. You've got that little plastic bowl under that radiator, may end up causing you a big problem. If you do have a leak from a radiator and it's from the radiator side of the valve, turn both the valves off, and that can save you from the water leaking. You may have that area, that lounge, wherever it'll be, starts getting a bit cooler, but actually with that there, that could save the pressure dropping, emptying the bowl continuously. Dogs and cats start to drink out of it, and central water with the correct chemicals ain't that safe to drink. So that will save all of that. And someone's going to come along and stand in it and it'll flick up and all the water will go out everywhere anyway. So there we are. So yeah, it does put a lot of pressure onto the system this time of year. So another thing I really want to go into is when you keep topping up your heating pressure. So we had a job today, actually. Dean was out to a job and he said, I'll see this job here. And what they've got is a filling loop, like a normal sort of metal filling loop, but it's got a pressure reducing valve on it. And I said, I'll see those. We see them on commercial quite a lot. So when you've got like a continuous water leak and the pressure is dropping, some people put in a filling loop with a pressure reducing valve and leave them open. So if it drops below 1 bar, the thing will just automatically open up and allow more water into the system. And the problem with that is if you did have a catastrophic leak, now we do this all the time in commercial with auto top-up units and stuff like that. But if you've got this into your home situation, when it then does, if it catastrophically fails, that thing will just open up and then just spurt. So if you're away for the day, away for the evening, and you've got that leak, and the reason why you got it in there is because the pressure's dropping, it will then just flood the place out. And be careful, just in case your home insurance will not cover you for that, because it should just empty the pressure out and then stop. This time of year, wireless thermostats, battery warming symbols. You see a little tiny battery warning, so a little battery with a little line through it, or it's flashing, or something along those sort of lines. These can go on for a few months with low battery signals, but obviously in the winter period, we are calling for heat. We're turning the heat off and backwards and forwards, more than so in the winter than in the summer. So the batteries take a little bit more of a caning. They should last a couple of years from new. But if you've got a battery warning symbol flashing on your thermostat before it's too late, before it stops, get those batteries changed. Usually a couple of AAs and you're up and rocking and rolling again, and off you go. But also, if you have got thermostats, just make sure they repair up again. Make sure you haven't lost the time and the date settings. And typically on a wireless thermostat, you'll just turn them around. If it's like a Honeywell T3R or equivalent to that, you might find that you might lose the time because they have a little battery inside that you can't change. And if that's gone flat, just put it into manual, some sort of manual MAN sort of mode onto the programmer, and that'll manually turn it on without setting all the clocks and times if you're unfamiliar with that as well. So, local emergency plumbers. Now we don't here at Gaslec, we don't do emergency call outs. We don't do out of hours. We only do that pre-planned for commercial works. So, so don't get frustrated. I had a guy sort of get raising his voice at me, and I don't do all that shouting stuff. That I think we fitted a boiler from on the Friday, and something happened over the weekend. He emailed in. Well, we didn't pick it up because we wasn't at work, and then on the Monday morning, I get this sort of wave of finger pointing really about what's gone on. So, wherever we fit a boiler, we always show, the pressure will drop because it's brand new water, it's fresh, it's full of air bubbles, and that will then settle down. The air will work its way out, hit the automatic air vents and self vent on a sealed system, or on a vented system, it'll bubble out, but on a sealed system, you'll see the pressure drop down, and it may need to top it up. But it seems like sometimes these fall on deaf ears. I've started doing little videos for customers now where I'll do a video and I'll talk them through the system, and then I'll put it up onto YouTube as an unlisted or a private uh, uh, video, so they're the only ones to be able to view it, so I can run through the whole system with them. Certainly this time of year, when we're going to be off for nearly 2 weeks, we're going to be shut down for Christmas, so our team can have some quality time with their family. But yeah, so we don't all offer emergency plumbing cover. So if you do need an emergency plumber, then just have a look onto people like Which Trust a Trader. If you're down here in Kent, KCC and Medway trading standards approved as well. Other county councils will offer the sort of similar things as well, just to make sure you get someone that's good and reputable. I don't trust Checker Trade, and I don't trust that Trusted Trader as well that advertise on the telly. Only Which and the others that I've just mentioned as well. So, yeah, just be mindful that we're not all here. We're all want to celebrate Christmas with all our families as well. So it's not just you guys. So, fellow heating engineers and plumbers, this time of year is a really stressful time for us. And everyone's got these preconceived ideas. We sleep on £50 notes, and we only wash in the most expensive of aftershave, and that's not the case at all. We're just like humble people just trying to make a living. We make a little bit more in the winter than we do in the summer. No one moans about ice cream vans and roofers, but certainly plumbers, we will get a bit of a public kick in. Only because the electricians ain't around to do it for us, to take the blame and take it for us. Anyway, yeah, unplanned joke that was. So all we're trying to do is sort of, as plumbers and heating engineers, as we know, guys, we're just trying to help the customer. It's their heating system, it's their boiler, it's their taps, it's their valves, or whatever it be, their pumps, and we're just trying to help the customer. And you can feel quite lonely as well when you've got someone at the end of the telephone, and all of a sudden that person that lives on their own has got 3 children under the age of 1 living in their house, an elderly nana, and all of these people with disabilities that suddenly have now turned up, and it's now a high priority. So just bear that in mind, that it is their home, it is their boiler, it is their pump, and we're here to try and do our best, what we can. But, try not to detriment the time with our own families and our own friends and our own networks as well. Parts will fail, deliveries won't turn up. And the thing that really gets me sometimes is that we when we try and go out of our way to help a customer. So if we say Mrs. Miggins, we turn up and we go, well, this has gone wrong for you, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll chuck a bit of grease on it. We'll give it a tap. We'll give it a wiggle. We'll see if we can get it going for you. How's that? We won't charge you for any parts because none have been fitted, but we'll see if we can get your parts working again. And push comes to shove, what's going to happen? It's going to go wrong. It's going to happen again. Now you're to blame because it's a game of it. The last one to touch it is it. And they're not going to pay for that second call out, and they're certainly not going to pay for the part. So out of the goodness of our own hearts, we tried our best to try and keep the cost down for the customer, but ultimately it's us that end up bearing the brunt for the time and for the materials for it. So just be mindful. Sometimes your kindness is your weakness, and you will be expected to go back as well. What we do here at Gaslec, we finish on the 23rd of December, so we're not working on the 24th. I think it's really, really, a lot of our team members, they've got young families. So, yeah, my kids are grown up and stuff, but, the others have got small kids. I think it's really important not to work on Christmas Eve for those guys, to spend that day as a bare minimum on the Christmas Eve, getting all the children excited, ready for the big day on the following. So yeah, just be mindful if you're out working, guys, when you've got that slightly wonky clip and the customer says that they're not too happy about it, and it's 5 o'clock on Christmas Eve, and they're going to then the payment's being delayed until sort of New Year because they're not quite happy with that level of service that you've done for them, but you've got family commitments to go and see to and stuff like that. So just be mindful that this time of year is a nice delay tactics for people that don't really want to pay. So, when you do stuff like that, have your card machine ready and then offer it up for them to pay. And certainly if, they're happy to pay, they're happy to pay. If there's nothing that's, if there is little niggles, we can get them put to bed. But yeah. So how do we plan for Christmas here at Gaslec? So the day before we're finishing, so we finish on the 23rd. So the 23rd, we'll have no work booked in for the whole team. And the idea of this is a purpose-built in snagging day. So if we do have a call from the 22nd, which is the Monday this year, we get to then could drop back in on the 23rd and get that done. And then the whole team pulls together and we'll go round en masse sometimes if we can. And we'll just get it done as quickly as we can. Done, dusted. Thank you very much. There's the invoice. Let's get it paid and let's get back to the office. And it's a nice time for the team to catch up on the 23rd, and we'll have a cup of tea, some lemonades. I'll get some pizzas in, and we can all have a bit of cake and a catch up. Sort the vans out, sort out some little bits and pieces, and where we want to be, and then wish each other and our families a happy Christmas. So I think the 23rd really. I used to work on the 24th like normal, and then before you know it, you're going out at 6 o'clock in the evening and you're not turning up for the family because that job has run on for that extra day, and you don't end up doing those little bits and pieces of trying to tidy stuff up and get stuff squared away for Christmas, or get the van washed or whatever it'll be, just to sort of put an end to it because you're just running around. So I've got a couple of Christmas stories from past. So one Christmas Eve, I had 2 phone calls from 2 different peoples to fit my electric ovens, which was a bit bizarre. I just went down the merchants, it was open until lunchtime, and I bought two ovens and got those finished. It was a little last minute job. Imagine that on Christmas Eve. You turn your oven on and boom goes your electric because the heater element's just blown itself apart. You ain't going to get a heater element on Christmas Eve, are you? So we had that. I had a customer once on Boxing Day asked me to refit their kitchen. So I was like, no, sorry, I can't do that. I'm spending it with my family. What else have we had that's cropped up over Christmas? Yeah, I had a client ask me to fit an outside tap on Boxing Day. They just had one of those inflatable hot tubs for Christmas, and they wanted to get it up Christmas Day and then fill it up on Boxing Day so they could sit in it and eat and enjoy their evening. I said that wasn't very possible because I'm spending the time with my family. I don't want to spend with theirs. But you get these. If you called out an emergency plumber to go and fit an outside tap on Boxing Day, that'd be an absolute fortune. That'd be amazing. So, this time of year, we just need to remember, as human beings, that there are people cutting costs out there. There are people, there are industries that are losing their jobs, and money is tight. Suicide this time of year is when it peaks. It peaks at Christmas and it peaks at the end of January. So there's a lot of pressure on people this time of year. So, we may all be very happy in what we do, but we have to be mindful of others. And relationships do take a strain and a struggle with certain industries that don't do very well this time of year, like bricklaying or people doing outside gardening or roofing or that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of pressures on certain trades this time of year. We're busy, with plumbing and heating. But yeah, if you're not into plumbing and heating, you're into something else, let's wait for the sun to shine, come down, or a little bit of diversification in whatever you do. But yeah, there are a lot of stresses and strains this time of year, and we've got the River Medway here, and we hear of people going out and drinking too much or getting too upset, and then thinking they can go for a swim across the river rather than walk across the bridge. So, there's plenty of charities. Samaritans are working all over the Christmas period if you need to talk to someone. So, that wraps up this edition. So I've got the Christmas edition next week. So I'm going to get that. So hopefully my voice is been a little bit painful this podcast, but hopefully next week's episode I'll be in fine vigor and singing. I'm gonna try and sing you a song, guys, as for the final one before Christmas. You take care. I hope that was of some value. And if you ever know anybody that's interested into plumbing and heating, or they're interested in DIY, share this pod with one person. That'd be absolutely amazing. Take care. All the best. Goodbye.